Hi, everybody. Eric Brown, MOBO-Media, back at you again, back at you again. Hey, I want to talk about a subject that's kind of a little sensitive, and I want to be careful in how I communicate this. But the subject is on, the influences on children and how children can be easily influenced in today's world. We have this information overload age with the social media and everything, and kids have access to all this stuff. But it's not just even social media. It's social media is not the only thing influencing the kids. It's the adults that are influencing the kids in a negative way. And it is my hope that you know we wake up and understand that um, these young folks are precious. They're precious. They're our future, and we owe it to them to give them positive influences. So negative influences are not conducive to a an eventual adult, a child that eventually becomes an adult. Because the thing that can influence them now is also likely to have an impact on them when they become adults. So we want to be careful in things that we convey to our young folks. Again, social media is such a huge influence out there. It's unbelievable. I'm not a social media guy. I didn't really start even getting on social media till probably the last 6 months or a year or whatever. And that was just to push mobile media. I've got a, plan to, honor my grandmother. Her name was Mobile Media. And my plan is to honor her to keep her legacy alive by trying to communicate things that I know that that she would bless. She would bless, and it's all about positivity. It's nothing negative. But sometimes you got to go there with the negative to have a reference point for the positive. You got left and right, you got up and down. You got night and you got day, and you have negative and you have positive. So they all complement each other. But man, the impact to the children, it saddens me. It really saddens me. It's painful to see the amount of negative influences that these children have to endure. I just, man, I just don't. I feel for the children out there. There's so much information out there, um, good and bad. Don't get me wrong. There's good information and bad information, but good information is children are able to see outside of their own little worlds. Now they can get on the computer and talk to another child in China or another child in Nigeria or Kenya and Africa, whatever, in Europe. But the downfall of that is these children are exposed to some vile and despicable adults that are there only for their own self-serving purposes, um, and it's not for the benefit of the child. You know, I just believe that we've got to do a better job of being good examples for our children. I don't say that to knock anybody or knock anyone who has kids. I don't have children, so some may say, well, who are you to talk about negative influence of children? You don't even have children. Well, I've worked with enough children. I've got enough children in my own family to know that they're precious souls that should be protected. That should be protected. And I do all I can to try to incorporate positive influences and because I know they're watching. I know kids watch what adults do. They watch what they do. That's why when I'm around kids, I'm very careful about the things I do around young children. I'm a firm believer that you know our children are a reflection of our future. And so what's going on today with our children, I'm a hopeful man, but what I see going on today with our children, it gives me pause. I fear what the future holds with the things that are being pushed on children and put into their heads and the negative influence and those sorts of things. And I'm not even talking about the parents. I'm not just talking about the parents. I'm talking about society in general, whether it be on television, radio, the things they see around them. There was a time when we protected children. There was a time we protected children, and I'm not for sure what what happened. Well, social media is one thing that happened, but you can't just blame it all on social media. You can't blame it all on social media. Some of us are raised with values that we hold dear to, that we've gotten from the older generation. It's been passed on, and for some reason, some of that's been lost. And I want to make sure I do my part to make sure I continue to pass it on and make sure that we um, set good examples for our youth and our children. I plan on being more involved with the youth and children, which I have my whole life. I've volunteered to work with many children, whether it be in school settings, whether it be at, youth centers, what have you, man. I've always tried to do my part to try to have a positive impact on children. Even coming home when I was in the military, Air Force, I remember early on during my military career, anytime I come home, I would always gather up as many kids as I could, as many as I could afford to gather up, and just take them to see things that they typically wouldn't have the opportunity to see, and experience things they typically probably wouldn't have the opportunity to experience. Um, so, because I know the impact of that. I know the impact of what kids see, what they hear, and what they feel, and what they feel. I heard a story one day about, um, you know, folks don't realize sometimes when you're talking to your children, you're implanting seeds in their head. And sometimes those seeds are not positive. They're not positive. But we've got to make sure we protect our young folks, our young children, our precious young children. They are our future. They're our future. So, um, you know, one of the things that has always struck me is how our government allows, certain things to negatively impact children. I mean, I can remember, and some of y'all can attest to this. This isn't something new. First of all, I want to make that clear. It's not something new. This negative impact to kids. Our government had a big part to play in negative impact to children. Corporations had an impact to play, negative impact to children. I'll give you some examples. A lot of y'all remember some of the little things, little candy and things that they used to sell in the stores. One I can remember was the fake cigarettes. I don't know if y'all remember that. I don't know if it was bubble gum or whatever, but you got this little piece of bubble gum shaped like a cigarette, and one end was red like it was lit, and you take it and you blow smoke out of it, right? How in the hell is that positive for kids? Somebody please make it make sense to me, because they used to push cigarettes very hard back in the day, and they still do to a certain extent, and tobacco and things like that. And we all know what tobacco does to the body and to the health. So I think that was just a wrong approach. And I can give a ton of examples of things that those in positions of power did to try to influence these children negatively on purpose in the interest of profits. Because when you get a child, 5-year-old child getting a fake cigarette and blowing a little powdery sugar smoke out of it, and then chewing the bubble gum, and that child's mom, when they get older, they're gonna want a cigarette. They're gonna want a cool filter king. They're gonna want a damn uh, a Newport, what have you. And I'm not saying this is for all children. I'm just saying, pay attention to what your children are exposed to. Pay attention to what's in these stores. Pay attention to what's on TV. Um, I'm going to say something. I know it's going to probably, it could ruffle people the wrong way. I could care less because it's my truth. I was sitting watching TV one day, and I heard from folks that have kids about the things out there that are they're subtle. They're not really open, um, but the kids are paying attention to this, and adults really don't. Sometimes they don't pick up on it. Well, it was something I picked up one day watching TV. There was some cartoon, a little picture of a cartoon that came on the television while I'm watching it. The cartoon, I think it was something about space or whatever. And I kid you not, and I know what the hell this was. They had these kids in this cartoon riding this spaceship that was shaped like a human, like a male's part. Let me just put it to you like that. It was very obvious. It was very obvious. This whole the gender identity thing, I have my own opinions about that. I don't want to make this a negative platform. I have my own opinions about that. And let me tell you, if I had a child, there's no way in hell they're gonna push that on my child. No, no, because it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. Let's just put it to you like that. Okay. Anything else is the devil at work. So, um, I'm not here to knock the the LGBTQ whatever community. Some people call them the alphabet soup community. I don't mean to say it in a negative way. I don't know what they're called. Hell, I just found out that some people don't even want to be called man or woman. They are referred to as they or them. You know, I don't know what this world is coming to, but yeah, we've got to, as adults, we've got to incorporate more positive influence to our children. Hey, with that, this is Eric Brown. I just want to just get that off my chest because I see it all the time, man, and it hurts my heart because I don't have children, like I said, and my control over what happens to children are often limited. These children have their own parents, things like that. But any opportunity I get to incorporate positive influence to children, you better believe I'm going to do it, and I will always do it because that is our future. If we don't protect our future, we're not protecting ourselves. So, what you reap is what you sow. So, with that, Eric Brown, Mobile Media. Hey, please take care of our young folks. Let's take care of our young folks. They deserve better. Y'all take care. Mobile Media. Bye bye.